Here's what the Heritage Foundation wrote in March of 2021. 11 years after the passage of Obamacare, Americans buying health insurance under the law are still worse off financially than before the health law was enacted. Let me read that again. 11 years after the passage of Obamacare, Americans buying health insurance under the law are still worse off financially than before the healthcare law was enacted. Obamacare more than doubled insurance costs for workers and families, with the average national premium increasing by 129% from 2013 to 2019. Well done. Here's number 42.
So we as a nation are now spending a far larger share of our national wealth on health care than we were a generation ago. At the rate we're going, we are expected to spend 1/5 of our economy on health care within a decade. And yet we're getting less for our money. In fact, we're spending more on health care than any other nation on earth, even though millions of Americans don't have the affordable quality care they deserve, and nearly 46 million Americans don't have any health insurance at all. This problem didn't just appear overnight. For decades, Washington has debated what to do about this. For decades, we've talked about reducing costs, improving care, and providing coverage to uninsured Americans. But all too often, efforts at reform have fallen victim to special interest lobbying aimed at keeping things the way they are, to political point scoring that sees health care not as a moral issue or an economic issue, but as a wedge issue, and to a failure on all sides to come together on behalf of the American people. And that's what makes today's meeting so remarkable, because it's a meeting that might not have been held just a few years ago. The groups who are here today represent different constituencies with different sets of interests. They've not always seen eye to eye with each other or with our government on what needs to be done to reform health care in this country. In fact, some of these groups were among the strongest critics of past plans for comprehensive reform. But what's brought us all together today is a recognition that we can't continue down the same dangerous road we've been traveling for so many years, that costs are out of control, and that reform is not a luxury that can be postponed, but a necessity that cannot wait. It's a recognition that the fictional television couple Harry and Louise, who became the iconic faces of those who opposed health care reform in the 90s, desperately need health care reform in 2009, and so does America. And that's why these groups are voluntarily coming together to make an unprecedented commitment. Over the next 10 years, from 2010 to 2019, they are pledging to cut the rate of growth of national health care spending by 1.5 percentage points each year, an amount that's equal to over $2 trillion.
Okay, that's enough. I'm getting a headache. National average monthly premium paid in the individual market in 2013 was $244. By 2019, $558. That's a 129% increase. Made it worse. The only real way to lower healthcare costs, to make it more affordable, more accessible, while maintaining the quality, is for there to be more competition and to treat healthcare like a commodity, like a flat screen TV or like a smartphone. And the left would not do that because they believe healthcare is a right.